Okay, so I'm just going to go straight to it. I like what the introduction. The introduction makes it very easy for me. Makes it very easy for me. You need retreat from every single thing, including relationship and marriage.
Yes.
And I'm going to explain. Because at the end of the day, first thing you need to note is you need to be alive to do every other part of your life.
Thank you.
If you take that point home, then you are getting the idea behind the conversation tonight. You need to be alive to live every area of your life. Now, it would amaze you to know that God took 6 retreats through the process of creation. God is so sovereign that he could have made everything in one swoop. But on day 1, he made something, saw that it was good, and stepped back from creation. So we are always looking at the 7th day without looking at the 6th set of rests. So our focus has always been on the 7th day, he rested. The 7th day, he rested. No! Why did he not do it all in one day? Why did he go to Turkey after day 1? Then go to Canada after day 2? Then go to America after day 3? Then go to Dubai after day 4? Why was he doing that? He is God. Almighty God took breaks in what he did.
Yes.
See, let me say this. If you don't take breaks, you will break down.
You break down.
If you don't take breaks, you will break down. That's the honest truth. So, retreat is a part of the scheme of staying fresh. Retreating is a part of the scheme of staying fresh. Now, let me talk about marriage. I'll take it back to relationship so that it's relevant to everybody. Marriage is too intensively high tensioned to remain in it without some breaks. Now, listen, I'm not saying keep malice, do silent treatment. No. Every wise couple give each other space to breathe. Because if my wife breathes well, I'll enjoy her better. Life is very tough. Children, in fact, like, see, for the last 2 days, I've had to do school runs because she was neck deep into this preparation to do what she's there to do. The truth is, now, if she never gets a time off, school runs alone can deplete all you are. So, we're not talking about step aside out of quarrel. We are saying step aside so that you can be alive to do the life.
That's right.
And this is the mistake people make. The moment, see, when I tell people, you may need some time away from your spouse, they're like, what? Yeah, I said so. Let me tell you, that's why I love my professional conferences, the ones I go alone. I love some ministry travel that you are going alone. Being married alone is enough work. And you are not born to work till you die. It's work. You are sitting down, your spouse is wondering why you're not smiling. Must I be smiling 24/7? Pressure. Why are you not laughing? Why are you frowning? Why are you not? Why are you? So you
guilty as charged.
You get the point? But that window gives you room. Do you know? It's in the window of constructive separation that you even evaluate yourself.
That's right.
There are times you are sitting alone like, hi, me might be trouble. My like you just jokingly say, my husband is here from calm down.
That's true.
Because until you retreat, you don't evaluate.
You don't.
Until you retreat, you don't evaluate. Evaluation happens better when you can step aside from the playing field. That's why even in football, you take halftime. What happens at halftime? You are able to evaluate. Guess what? You will find yourself owning up to weaknesses you defended when you were on the playing field.
That's right.
That's why you see sometimes a coach will be angry. It's a lie. Like in football, they introduce a video assistant referee. Nonsense. That was not a penalty. Blah, blah, blah. But guess what? During the press conference after the game, they'll now ask the coach, have you seen the replay? Haven't seen the play. Do you stand by your argument? Some coaches will be honest enough to say, I see it better now. It was in the heat of the moment that I could not evaluate. So it's so important to know that certain times taking a time off is not because there is trouble, but because I need to evaluate my performance. And I cannot evaluate my performance on the playing field if I don't take a break to evaluate what I have been doing.
Yes.
So relationship need it. Let me tell you, I want to go with you, everything, that your conference, I want to go with you, that program, I want to go with you. You are killing yourself. You are allowing him to breathe. Allow her to breathe. Let them have space. You get what I'm saying? That breathing space, it gives you room. It gives you room.
You know, this thing you just said right now, I know that there are a lot of people, a lot of spiritual people that are going to nail you. You know, because, you know, the question is, as a child of God and the way marriage is being portrayed, that you need to be one. So we have seen a lot of accolades given to men that walk around with their husbands, with their wives. You know, we've seen a lot of accolades given to men. They celebrate men that are always moving around with the wives. But the truth of the matter, even in ordinary relationship, there is a time will come when this whole thing will choke you. You need time to breathe.
Exactly.
Even the one needs time to breathe. Exactly.
In fact, I'm going to speak to that because the problem with the body of Christ very often is we lack balance. And I'll give you an example of the subject, then come back to the subject. I ran into a clip today of a man of God who was saying, if God sends a special customer your way, who gives you, now this was a pastor talking, who gives you a lot of money to do a project, and you say, oh my God, I want to sow a big seed. You carry that money and take it to the altar, God will slap you. Why? The person will come back the next day and say, where is the product? And Mumu has dropped the money on the altar. The only person happy is your pastor, who will use the money for church project. God is not happy. That's why God himself says he gives seed to the sower and bread to the eater. So God distinguishes what comes to your hand. Now let me answer those people. If you are so one, why are you working in two offices? You are one in two bodies. You are one with two brains. You are one with, see, in fact, for instance, I know you attend Living Faith Church. Is Papa in all the branches of Living Faith Church?
Of course not.
The spirit is one, but the head pastors are different. Even if they are preaching the same outline every week, let's assume there's an outline to preach from, the expression will be different. Why? Oh, I love scripture. I love scripture. He said we are members of the same body, but we are not the same parts. We are members of the same body, but not the same part. One is head, one is hand, one is leg, and they don't play the same function. Guess what? It is not every time you treat headache that you treat stomach pain. So should the stomach say, why did you take paracetamol for head? You are discriminating. No! Because if the head is okay, we are okay. If my wife can get some deserved rest. Look, do you know, before it looks like I'm just talking to other people's wives, I have given my wife one offer. I am waiting for her to take it. There are 5 girls in their house. At least 4 of them are very close. The elder, she's number 2. The eldest one is more like their mommy, you know. I have told her that for the rest of them, her and 3 others, when they are ready, they should let me know. They need a time out. That is me talking to my wife. Why? I know the relationship they share is not inordinate, is not out of order. 3 out of these 4 are married. They have their homes running. The last one is dating someone, she'll soon be married. They all have their lives. But there's a special thing that happens when they meet. They're able to connect as sisters. So what should have bothered me would have been if they were undermining the relationship with their husbands and being so close to undermine their relationship with their husbands. Now, but they are all in their husband's house doing well with their husbands, but I figure we have been starving them of that fellowship they should have. So I'm like, look, speak to them. If their husbands permit, I am ready to actually sponsor it. 4 of you just go away, share some time together, carry the ones that still have little babies, no problem, look for who to keep babies with. 4 of you just go and connect as sisters.
Thank you, sir.
Wow.
Very important.
When she comes back, I'll have a better wife. She'll be fresher, she'll be happier. Sometimes marriage becomes too tough because there's an endless circle of pressure. Pressure. That pressure, school run, cook lunch, cook dinner, come home, pay rent, pay bills. This one, you're just going around pressure.
Nanny.
So you get, so it's so important. Now, you are not doing this out of malice. You are doing this to say, my dear wife, I want to give you rest.
Yes.
I want to give you rest. So sometimes I tell men, I know some men will be watching, I tell men, see, let me tell you, it must not be abroad only.
Yes.
Inside the town where you are living, Friday, Saturday night, 3 days, 2 nights, you don't have to go with her.
Yes.
See the hotel money. See the money for every food you will eat in the room. Please, can you just rest? So when we're talking retreat, now people take it to be separation. Let me bring some balance to that. I'll give you an example. Do you know, as a Christian, God does not expect you to be on your knees praying 24 hours. You'll be a useless child. You'll be a very useless child. Why? Now, when you step out of devotional prayer, are you separated from God? You're not separated. My wife taking a time to rest or taking a time to just refresh is not disconnection from me, because our connection is not just physical. For instance, we parted this morning before 7. We are just seeing again. In fact, I am sitting here now. She's just trying to get herself back in returning to the house. We are not physically connected, but we are still connected. Yes. Does it mean we are separated right now? We are not separated. That's where people miss it. So when we're talking about the retreating necessary for relationship, we are speaking about the refresher that puts each person in the right place.
That's right.
For instance, we do this men only event, when men just go away. Yes. So why should we not say it should be couples only? No, it's men only. Men go, men go, and because what happens there? Now, here's the point. Every true retreat delivers value that favors the relationship.
That's right.
So it is not to damage the relationship. So the relationship actually benefiting from that constructive separation.
That's right.
All right? Now, we're already talking the good one. There is the one, let me say the truth. There is the one that is not out of very beautiful plan, like I'm saying. Is that the marriage hard. You need to rest more because the hardness is hard. That's the truth. As in, I'll give you an example. Some people right now are married to prayer point, not prayer partner. See, your heart is injured all the time. You are praying, you are trusting God, you are exhausted. Exhaustion. So some people need to follow Mama NHF for retreat, not because all is well, because all is not even well.
Exactly.
Go and get some energy for the battle you are fighting, because you're inside a battle. You get what I mean? Go within a group where there's corporate anointing. Because one of the ways we kill our own is to say, stay there, down there. Hey, let me explain. The Bible explained that when they were persecuted, they went back to their own company. Please listen, let me explain, guys. If things were in perfect order, your integral company should be your partner.
That's right.
But God raised the body of Christ to make up for the deficiencies of natural order. So anytime natural order fails, God uses his body to make up for the strength you are losing so that you can survive natural order. That's why growing up, some of us were persecuted by even parents. But every time you go within the brethren, you take energy. It's the same brethren that will tell you, Ocholi, you cannot insult your father. He is still your father. What are you getting? The brethren will not teach you rebellion. They will give you energy. You will meet among the women, they will tell you, God will do it for you. Your husband will come to the knowledge of God. We will stand with you in praise. Keep praying. God is with you. What have you received? You have received energy.
That's right.
So when people speak like anything that just takes you out of that confines means you are scratching the mark, it's a lie. You must go to your company when your primary company has lost the capacity to the company.
Thank you.
Because husband should not be pressure, wife should not be pressure. It should be a place of energy. But when the place that will give you energy is depleting energy, you need to go to another wholesome source. That is why I give you an example. Every man should be priest over his home.
That's right.
But when a man does not play the role up to a point, the woman, or when the other spouse does not play their role, you realize that the other spouse need to plug somewhere where they can be fed something that will help them restore the order that should be at home.
That's right.
So when you undermine retreat, now again, let me answer the people who think that this is fallacy. No marriage should bring you to the point where you lose your personal connection to God. There's family devotion and there's personal devotion. So when you're talking about retreating in the relationship sense, you already do it every day if your life is normal. I should have my personal prayer walk with the Lord. I should have my personal devotion with the Lord.
That's
so
true.
When I'm talking retreat, which shows a physical time of taking time off, it should just be part of what I have been doing anyway in prayer and in devotion. Because if your entire prayer life is your family devotion, my sister, my brother, you are in soup. That means God, you are denying God and serving only your spouse.
Yeah, your spouse.
And let me tell you, God will never give you a spouse to replace himself.
Never.
There's a place that belongs to God alone.
Yes.
That place is for God alone.
That's
so
right.
It's so important. You cannot stay fresh in marriage if you don't have windows and pockets of time where you are able to catch time minus your spouse. Now, why are you catching the time? You are catching the time for the good of your spouse. I'm going to give you some scriptural example now. Jesus stepped away from his disciples to go pray. Guess what? As the disciples journeyed, they encountered a storm. He who had separated himself for the sake of prayer showed up walking on water. Hey, the same thing that was to drown them, he had conquered in the place of a retreat. Let me tell you, some of you are going to come with words of knowledge, words of wisdom from the place of retreat, and you are going to come and check the devil in your home out of your home.
That's right.
Why? When you step aside and you can connect to the Lord at a certain level and get refreshing at a certain level, certain things that have plagued your marriage, you come back to it and say, what's that? And guess what? Every time one of us is able to charge up, we come and charge the other. What happened? Peter looked at him and said, Master, if that be you, bid me come. And he said, come. What happened there? Peter did not retreat, but Peter took advantage of the one who retreated. Did you get the point? So this is not unto destruction, this is unto empowerment. All right? So people need to, as a matter of fact, let me tell you, there are times you need to say, my darling husband, please permit me. I want to take this weekend off to just go somewhere and pray. See where I shall be. It is nothing hidden. It's nothing bad I'm going to do. I am going here to go and do this. Because some people misunderstand it when it has to do with rest. But those people have problems. So tell them it is prayer. Be praying and be resting. If your spouse doesn't understand the rest one, tell them you want to go and contend with the enemies of the family. I want to take time and makaya tapaya. So when you are there, scatter the devil and also sleep. See, let me tell you. Do you know we will be judged for what we do with our body?
Yes.
That revelation changed my perspective.
Yes.
So, for instance, there are certain sickness people are suffering. It's not Satan. It's what they are putting inside. Choco. Guess what? In fact, I'll give you an example. Kenneth Copeland shared something that is so profound. He shared that the Lord ministered to him that he has not been able to keep certain anointings long enough on earth because the vessels that carry them expire before a certain time.
Wow.
So he said he made up his mind that his confession of living up to 120 is not just talk. God now gave him some instructions that, look, to preserve this body that carries a certain grace, you have a role to play.
Yes.
Guess what? There are some things, the moment you put them in your mouth, it's like deleting 3 years, 5 years from your life. You're just, sometimes you are putting things in your mouth that are deleting years from you, reducing the time. So when we're talking about retreat, see, people need to, when you read First Timothy chapter 5, the Bible, after addressing covetousness, addressing greed, he concludes by telling us that God gives us all things freely to enjoy. Let me tell you, don't allow anybody guilt trip you for needing some enjoyment to your body. That's why, as a family, every once in a while, I gather my people. Yes. I gather them, gather the money. Just relax.
Sometimes my wife say, sorry, sir.
Yes.
Before you go into that, I was going to also bring that as one of the points I wanted you to address. Before we go into that, because I want you to also cover up family retreats and the importance of having a family retreat. Now, I saw a question here, and I believe it's a guy that wrote it, that just wrote that question, and he said that how can you encourage women to go take a retreat or take a rest, a weekend in a hotel without your husband? And he said, teach them right. Now, the problem we have, like I just arrived. I just got into my hotel not long ago. I've been on air, and while I was at the airport, when I went to check in, and there was this young guy, not a young guy. The guy is a man, old man, and I just realized that the guy has behind me. And he thought I was going to Nigeria. Yes, because he had to try to strike a conversation with me. He said, oh, he smiled. I smiled back. He said, oh, are you going to Nigeria? And I said, no, I'm going to Istanbul. So he was a little bit disappointed. So he asked me, where am I pushing my trolley to? I said, I'm in first class. I'm in business class. So I'm going to that end. He said, okay, him too. So he came with me. In fact, I give him camera. I give him phone. I do all those videos. I gave him walk as he won't try walk, and I don't give him walk. So I told him to take me. So, but while I got to my desk, to the counter, he also went to the next guy's counter. And then my boxes were so heavy. So they asked me to reduce, take away like 3 kg from my box. So I was trying to zip up. So the guy started laughing because he heard me when the man was asking me where I'm going. So I'm going for women retreats. So he started laughing. He now made a comment across, so he was at the other end. He said, now you get to understand that you women need the men, So the truth, the honest truth is that we need to talk to our men. I love what you do. I love the fact that you created a platform. And between man and God, I wish the guy is here. I know he will be here because I invited him. I told him, join us tonight, because he was saying, why are women going on retreats without their husband? Why, if it's men that go, we will start shouting? And I said to him that it depends on who you're listening to. And there is a platform where men go on retreats. So I told him about your page. I told him that he should follow, he should come up tonight. So now what I'm trying to say is, just you and very few people, I know TD Jakes also does that, have also created this retreat for men, where they speak into their life, because women are well charged up, but we have men that can't complement them. So that's why we're having problems in marriages, problems in relationships, and problems in homes, because the women are more overcharged than the men. All right, and they need to be charged together so that they will be able to complement each other. Okay, so now the young man asking this question is saying, because he is of the traditional or the normal or religious belief that there shouldn't be a place of retreats for the wife. Now, their own definition of retreats, I know that's what is in his mind. Go and pray. Go and pray. And going to church is a retreat. But going to take a weekend in a hotel, to go on a spa treatment, to get yourself massaged, to get your nails and all that done, your hair done, is a retreat on its own. But men wouldn't understand that. Nigerian men in particular will not check their wife into a hotel alone. It's not possible. They won't do it. And they would rather go with them. Now, I want us to strike a balance, because we have this kind of people that have this kind of mentality, and they are black men. So I also want people to understand that a retreat is not, you can also have a retreat with your husband. I do that with my husband. We go on a family retreat, but in that retreat, we have our personal time. That was what you're trying to explain, that in the time of devotion, you also need your time. So we used to go to, before Dubai started doing all this nonsense, we used to go to a place called Grand Hyatt, and that's where I took them in 2019.
Oh, that's where we stayed the last time.
Yes. So, and it gives you room. You can go to the garden. The place is too big. There's so many places you can stay, and at night you come back together. So I want us to strike a balance for, in case if there are people that have this kind of mindset. Yes, you can go on a retreat with your wife, with your husband, but the topic mainly is the issue of retreating, the issue of resting. So in that retreat that you're doing as a couple, you shouldn't choke each other. There should be time of separation. The man it's not every time you'll be in the room. You need to give the wife, or the wife, just that. And after that, please, when you just address this, I need you to also address the retreat for family. It's very important. It's very important for families to take out time, and to bond. To bond is really very important. Please go ahead. Thank you.
Okay. First things first. Unfortunately, I'm going to strike some chords right now. Trust is a major issue for most men.
That's right.
We think too much about sex. So when the woman wants to just be alone, because we are so sex, we think, what is she going to do? Who will see her? What will she do? Some is outright distrust, like she will sneak somebody in there. Because the common idea of most men is that time alone is not fulfilling until he has took somebody. And that's a problem, sir. It's a problem. Now, when we are talking about this, the height of being romantic is being thoughtful. Many men need to look at their wife, they are dying. See, this life is a pressured zone, too much pressure. Hey, she took him, she gave birth, she's doing school runs, she's cooking, she is this, she is that. Once you begin to perceive your partner for the pressure they are going through, you will beg them to rest. You will, because you are the number one pressure. Number one. That's why sometimes my wife used to be shocked certain things I do, because she just expected traditional man. So she asked, what do you want to eat this evening? Anything. She like, okay. And I noticed that in itself is stress. I'll just pick the easiest thing in the house to do. Okay, do simple noodles. Yeah, do whatever the way you used to do it very well. Just do it. Because I know that one, maximum 20 minutes is done, or 15 minutes is done. We're out of the way. But so you are already pressured. Let me ask, for instance, there are people that have been married 5-10 years. You can't remember when last your partner had proper time to rest from all the pressures that comes with marriage and you. That's a problem. You are running somebody down.
It's wickedness. If only they understand what the wife is doing. It's not easy to give birth. It's not easy to take care of children. We have women that cooks. We have women that are nanny in their home. We have women that are drivers to their children. We have women that are teaching. They are teachers to their children. The man just thinks that his job is to go out there and make money, and he thinks that's work. It is not work. He should better go and ask the wife. That's the point. To look at these women. It's not easy.
That's the point. So, and guess what? Because of our position of authority, most men get the space to get the rest they deny their women. I'm going to repeat that. Because of our position of authority, most men get the space to get the rest they are denying their wives.
Of course.
And I'm going to explain it two ways. True. A male takes a lot of satisfaction from achieving his goals. So certain times, what the woman needs in declogging, the man gets in pursuit of goals. So he's in the office, he doesn't want to leave the office. He travels for conference, he travels for an assignment, he works offshore, he works so and so place. He takes the time, nobody's controlling the time for his fulfillment.
And he has boys' day out. He goes to work
you get what
on
I
his
mean?
way from VI to back to Ikeja. He will first stop at a joint to drink beer before coming home. That is a
so you are talking the beer drinkers. Let's even stay with the ones who don't even do all those one. He's still a male because of his position of authority. All this one you have mentioned and the ones who don't even do those one, we still take the time we want. For instance, I give you an example. Our waking up structure in this house is very different. I sleep late, they sleep earlier. She wakes up brutally early to get all of them set for going out. Guess what? I am my own boss, both in ministry and in law practice. Sometimes at 12 noon, they're asking me in the office, are you coming in today, sir? Okay, I'll be in by 2. Or I'm working from home today. Now maybe the boss. Both in ministry and in my business. So what just happened? I have taken the time I need. In fact, sometimes I'm telling them, you guys are going late today. It's a lie. I want them to go. Oh yeah, everybody out. Just go. And thank God, right now, decisively for some years, we don't have anybody with us. It's just us and the children. So once she carry her children and they have gone for school runs and she's going to office from there, yours sincerely is now back to proper bachelorhood. I can move at my pace. She doesn't easily have that luxury. I have that luxury because of my place of authority right now. So if I don't say, and that's why sometimes I tell her, it looks like I'm even demonic. Some programs are going on, series of programs in church. I'm like, madam, for this one, you will rest now. I know you love Jesus past me, no problem. But this week, see data. Oh yeah, watch it online. You are not moving nowhere. You want to kill yourself.
Thank you, sir.
Because if she kill herself,
yeah.
First of all, she will put me in trouble. I'm telling you, you just stress my life. I start looking for a woman. So please, I tell her all the time, you must stay alive. Oh. I am not looking for her to kill you. Stay alive. Oh. So once thoughtfulness gets in the process, you will begin to see how stressed and strained your partner is. Look, a lot of people who they just slumped and died. It's not just slump and die, it's a lie. There was a pattern. There are patterns that, for instance, some migraine has nothing to do with Satan. It's pattern of life. You are pressure. Don't
everywhere.
Put your wife on medication when you need to give her time off. Medication is not the answer to certain things. Some things, the answer is time off.
Thank you.
Time off.
Sickness, you don't even need to take any medication. Not to rest.
No medication.
Rest.
Yes. All right. And now, number 2. Once you begin to understand this, if to minimize the level of personal retreat time you give her, then create some kind of rest for her in you. And I'm going to explain. So if you are so jealous, you are so lovely, you don't want her having too much time alone, no problem. You become the rest. I'll give you some example. In my house, there's a standard policy. Sunday after church is our day out, so that nobody cooks. Because most women, tell yourself the truth, you come from church close at 12, you close at 4 because you came. You are still trying to make sure family has eaten. This, that. Please. When I started, my wife was the very one who fought me. She'll be calculating. This food we just ate now, we cook 5 pots of soup. I say, leave your pot of soup. It's not pot of soup matter.
Thank you, sir.
Number 1, it helps us to bond as a family going out.
Thank you.
Number 2, it saves you the stress of going home. Because sometimes what happens before you go to church? Okay, let me fry the tomato up to this level. Then when I come back, it will just be
boil it.
Exactly. So I say, Madam, for Sundays, all of that out. This has been going on since last year.
That's my
standard
practice. That's my family tradition. We don't. Nobody enters the kitchen on Sundays. But when we sign up, it's something that is signed on the day of a marriage day. This is it. It's a tradition in my family. It's a tradition. So we say, somebody might say, my in-laws at the time were they used it one time to want to to judge me. And like, oh, I'm a waster. How can we go and spend? It's done intentional. We save for it. There is a budget for Sunday. Sunday is for rest. God rested. It's not time for the woman. Do you know what it means to go to church? All these men talking, they should let them decide to take the man's, let them become the wife. And let me tell you something, I just want to ask, sorry, I'm just cutting you off. Something again you need to understand with the men. I'm attacking you because now you be man. So I'm saying, I know that as you enter here, many men hardly come to this page because they know me. So as you enter here, I know say many men don't enter. So let me talk. Do you know that if only a man, the African man, will for once, give a helping hand to the wife, there's nothing wrong with you going to the kitchen to make yourself a meal. There's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with you helping your wife. If you know how women they suffer, do you know that even plus the fact that they will get you pregnant, they even to choke yourself is not a small matter. The choking yourself now work, because sometimes in the choking we are not even enjoying it. I am telling you the truth. Women will not tell you. I'm telling you what every woman would want to say now. Sometimes we have to fake organism. Is the organism, whatever they call it? We do all that. We're stressed. They don't allow us to enjoy. When they come, they don't come. They turn their face to that side, and we will go we go carry that stress go bath constantly. Then we can't get belly. We go carry this belly 9 months. We go born pikin. Ask anybody we just born pikin. You can't sleep. The child is crying. The man don't sleep. He don't change room. Mommy's, and I don't understand that concept. Mommy's room, daddy's room. And you see that the man, and they are not helping out. They are not helping out. If only they can help, they will take away plenty stress. Women are going through a lot, and that is why we're having problems in home. Now listen, if the man, let me tell the man the secrets, what they don't know. When you give your wife time to retreat and rest, trust me, you're not going to meet a nagging wife. Now, a wife that is not rested, a wife that is stressed up, a wife that is, that is stressed, will always want to look for what is not looking for her. That is when she wants to start monitoring you. That is when she wants to check your phone, because they give her rest, because you don't understand why you go there enjoy when she they enjoy. So she will start to look for things. At the end of the day, it ends up in either beating the wife or the wife beating the husband, and marriage does scatter. We need rest. Thank you, sir. Please continue. And I want you to also address the issue. I love this aspect of the family retreat. I do it with my family, and it has really helped us. One of the benefits of family retreats is actually taking out Sunday. So the retreat doesn't need to make you go out. You don't need to travel. You can do retreats inside that town, that city where you reside. Carry your children and your wife. Come out, go sleep for hotel. Just go and sleep in. Decide, okay, if you say, oh, I can go and say, fumigate the house. Use fumigation as an excuse that we are trying to fumigate the house. So let's go and sleep in the hotel. Do you know that even the children need rest? The children, Nigerian children. Until I brought my son, my kids are now in London. Until I understood that there's so much pressure on Nigerian education. So much. True. Do you know that David is an A star? Why? Because all the things that they are teaching David in his class is what he has learned 2 years ago in Nigerian school. So he became the star. There's so much stress. Even the children need retreats. There's too much. Everybody want them to carry first. Parents want them to do well. There's so pressure on the child. So if the whole family needs a retreat, take out time and go out. Don't do homework. Stop harassing the child. Leave the child to breathe. Leave Oga to breathe. Wife, leave the wife to breathe. Sir, please carry on. Sorry, I need to enter.
I love this. I love this because now the woman is a family-oriented being. Now she takes a lot of pleasure when family is working. One of the things that happen once you can narrow in on her and the family is that she feels automatically valued. Automatically. Everything in her just she loves me. You see, all like you're saying about nagging, you see all that nagging. I'll give an example. I've always given this example in some of my teachings. So 2019 was our 9th anniversary. I didn't even know COVID was coming. I just, the year before had been tough for some reasons, So I just figured, and funny enough, that same year, early in the year, we had been to South Africa together, ministry trip. But I just figured, you know what? Let me give this woman something. It was going to be a short trip, but okay. So around July, because once you become thoughtful, you start planning, even when life wants to look like it's not going to work. So I began to do PSS, pay small. I contacted my friend who is a travel agent. Anniversary is December. I began to, make deposit with him, plan with him. I went to my wife's immediate boss and arranged the permission from office. My wife works for federal government. Arranged the permission from her office. Gathered family together, threw the surprise on her, a day to the anniversary. I kept telling her something is coming. She couldn't believe it was going to be a travel. She was shouting like somebody that was drunk on codeine. I mean, this is a woman that has traveled, for God's sake. Dubai, waiting me to Dubai again. Yeah! In fact, she was shouting, I said, Madam, time, we're running late for the airport. See, my God, I printed some shirts, 9 years into forever, gave her own, carried my own. Man, we reach airport. Have you ever seen somebody flying economy behaving like they're flying first class? My God. My head was spinning. Them hostess, came to us and were like, is it our honeymoon? I say, honey what? I've been licking honey for 9 years. All of them were like, what? That you are just looking like you just got married. I say, no, 9 years. 9 solid years. Do you know, they now went to business class, brought all the package from business class for what do you want? They brought camera, snapped us. My wife was just smiling from molar to premolar. Smiling, anyhow, smiling. Brought the stuff, snapped us, brought a card, got the pilot and the hostess, all of them to be signing, born anniversary, happy anniversary. Just wait first. We landed Dubai. You're following your wife looking for sex. Sex was looking for me. Jesus. Left, right, center. It was looking for me. You say your wife is not getting wet. You are joking. You are the dry ground. That's why. You are not serious. See.
Change your environment.
In Dubai, even when I farted, mess, she says romantic. Everything was romantic. If I mess, she said, my God, baby, your fart is romantic. It's very romantic. Everything was romantic. You are fighting with your wife. Change her location and see. Because I give you an example. You are at home. Do you know even the other room, your spouse cannot express themselves because your children can be at the door? Take her out and see.
Yes.
Take her out and see. You get what I'm saying? So when people are making some of this argument, they are joking. My brother, if you don't have a house help, enter kitchen. When you are done washing plate, they will hold you from behind. My God. You start hearing washing. I married a man. My God. I married a man. You get what I'm saying? So when you talk about exactly. So when you talk about these things, it's so important to understand that the benefit will come back to you as a man. It's coming back to you. That's the honest truth. So now bonding happens in that process. Let me be honest, like you were saying, there are certain things you do, your wife will start snooping on you. she will snoop on you more when she notices you can't give me life. Who are you giving life? Because you are a life-giving man. There is something in you. If you are not giving me, you are giving somebody. She begins to snoop on you. But love a woman. The moment you shower love on a woman, you close all her investigative skills.
That's right.
Because she's still going to deal with what you are doing to her. Where will she have time to be saying, what is he doing? She will not have time to be suspecting anything. I'm not saying do something and hide. But once you do that, some of your domestic war and civil war will be solved. So, like, I give you the second example. I mean, our last trip as a family, all of us out of Nigeria, was 2015. So we sat back this year, we're like, no. Even the exposure for the children, like what you were saying about the pressure they go through.
Yeah.
You know, in fact, the two of them who had traveled very actively before we cut the travels, when we had our last baby and came back, that one traveled as a baby, so a newborn, so she doesn't even know. All of them, the two that had traveled repeatedly to US, UK, were arguing with us, they have never entered aeroplane. I said, my children cannot remember they have entered aeroplane. Hi, this one is insult. No, it happened to me. Only the one they receive for air now, see whether they grow up. I did my first ever passport with my son when he was an infant. First ever passport. I said, no, go continue like this. So me and my wife just agreed, you know what, look, 7 years, if it's punishment, enough punishment. 7 is a number of perfection. This year, like this, I will go and tear their eye at another level. God has helped us, they are privileged. They are not at the low level of life, they are privileged, they have seen some things. All this outing we are talking about, but I want this argument they're arguing, I want to end the argument. Yeah. So we began to plan. Where we needed miracle to happen, miracle happened. We began the planning. And guess what? Oh my God, we thought we had time together here. That 7 days, from the flying to the being in you were saying Hayat, when the Galleria, Regency, whatever. Regency. Oh God, this time together. You cannot quantify it. The children feel love, the wife feel love, the husband feel love. Yeah. What were we doing? We're just having family time. Yeah. Family time to the point that, you don't have all things. You can explain to them, you see this one, we will come back, we will do this one.
Yes, sir.
What that is going to come here, we cannot do this one. Even economic lesson entered. That is bonding. We're not saying you can give the whole world. You see this particular activity, we'll come back for it. You see this particular activity, we'll come back for it. Yeah. Let's do this one, do this one, because I need to be able to afford it. Simple and short. There were simple things were getting them excited. For God's sake, you are going into a pool to just swim. Now, swimming pool will not get for Nigeria. You know, the time together, take a break, just calm them down. Just give them this life. Yeah. Guess what? You are shaping the whole home.
Yeah.
All right? But guess what? I said the 7 years. I said the 7 years deliberately for somebody watching. Some of us are not speaking because we can just wake up and go out every year. No. But guess what? It needs to be a part of the plan you have for life.
Yeah.
See, your children are entitled. Your wife is entitled. Your husband is entitled. All of you are entitled to be functioning at your best. Yeah. So I look at some people. Look, if you want pressure to kill you, you will die of pressure.
You will.
I'm telling you. Some of you don't want to enjoy yourself because you are feeding your whole clan. Your clan will bury you. There's something called crowd mentality. In Africa, the moment you travel, all your people start reaching out to you.
Raise money. They will use your burial
exactly.
Go fund. Go fund when you want to fund what now? Fund person when don't die.
Exactly. Exactly.
Then they live your life.
And I'm speaking to some people now. Some people need to hear this thing we are saying. Why? Cousins that will beg you for money will never stop existing. Cousins that will think because you enter aeroplane, that means you can pay the whole school fees, they will never stop existing.
It's a circle.
So remove the fear of they will think I have money. They will think, let me tell you.
Let them think.
I need to be alive. I need to be alive. I work very diligently. I work. I should enjoy. Yes, now, guess what? Please note this if you are listening. When it comes to family retreat, learn to have reward goals. Learn to have reward goals. If we have labored all year,
did you read my family this thing?
learn to have reward goals. Very important. Look, you have walked around the year. Oh, I love my mother-in-law for something. Guess what? Last year, for instance, she forced all of us. Come with my daughter, your wife, and your children. We all lodged somewhere for like 4 days, right in Abuja. Had family time. Proper Mommy insisted, do this for me. Do this for me. I mean, do this for me. She has 5 daughters, I said. A son. 6 daughters, a son. 4 of which are married. She dragged all, plus husband, plus children. Everybody. Show his mother-in-law, you answer. Please do this for me. See, I mean, they have direct, I'm not talking, indirectly, we had about 30 children in that lodging in the hotel. Yes, because direct grandchildren, let me see, me 3, elder sister 4, 2 others have 1 have 2, 1 have 1. Direct grandchildren were over 10. Then, because they are parents to people that they are not biological parents to who have children on that retreat were about 30. Guess what? We bonded. We had this time because we connected as a family at the largest space. So it's so important to understand. See, let me tell you, some quarrel you are quarreling in your marriage will end when you take that time to enjoy together.
Honestly.
Just enjoy small. I hope with these few points of mine at 8 o'clock I can stop talking.
Thank you so much. It is so important. A retreat is so important. It helps to save so much troubles in marriages, in relationships, and all that. Very, very important. We are so grateful, man of God. Please, we'd like you to just let us know, because we know we have some people here that will be interested in the courses you take, and and how to get your resources, because you are just somebody called you a national treasure. It's not even a lie. So much wisdom. I know. I like going to. I'm always in your page. I follow you. So whenever I see your post, I read it. And even me, that is how many years in marriage, I still learn. I learn 1 or 2 things. And I'm always gingered. And I see you most times talking to me. Now, this is something I do. And probably maybe because I've not been encouraged. And I see somebody sharing his own perspective. And it gingers me. And it encourages me. Thank you so much. Please, in this last few minutes, can you just introduce us to, how to get your resources, your materials, if you have classes or trainings and all that, and how people will go about registering. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. Okay, so we have monthly classes for singles, whether dating or not dating, because I believe that for singles who are of marital age, some are just a relationship away from marriage. And it's better to prepare when the pressure is even low. So whether you're in a relationship or not, we have monthly classes. The final class for the year is in a few weeks. The way it runs is, if you send us a DM, you will get a redirection that will send you through our WhatsApp number and all, where you can get the details. The way it runs, in fact, as we speak right now, our class is active. We form the class people who sign up for each month into a group where we discuss certain things, have certain conversation. But the class ends with a 3 days on Zoom. It's usually a weekend. Like this final class for the year is November 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. Where we have 9 teaching hours on Zoom. That's a premarital class. The School of Marriage is slightly the same. Reaching out to us is the same way. This year we changed format for 9 hours for the year. For people joining late, they get recordings for the year so far, then they take off. So every month we teach on different subjects to make sure at the end of the year, the couples who sign up have gone through different areas of marriage, communication, sex, parenting, and all. Those are the 2 programs we run around the year. At any point you reach out, you can sign up for either the class that is next or the one following. For materials, we have 9 books, all on Amazon and Okada Books. So wherever you're watching from, you can easily access them. For the married, Mutual Coming is a sex book. It's just is other room book, purely Mutual Coming, foreplay, sex, and orgasm. You just is then we have a book that I believe couples should study together. Till Death Do Us Part is a 65 reflection book. 65 reflections on couple game. All of them are, like I said, available on Okada Books, Amazon. Then we have books that are teen for singles, Will You Marry Me, Help, I'm in Love, Hubby and Wifey Checklist, questions you must answer before you say I do. Help, I'm going through a breakup. If you have thought breakfast, don't worry. We have something to just put you in the right place and help you. Knowing God's will for marriage. This one. A lot of single people are tormented in this area. How do I know God's will? How do I do? Knowing God's will for marriage, I explain dreams, vision, trances, parents, prophet, pastor, audible voice, inner voice, all of those voices, and how you can appreciate that. Then I'll say this one last. The marital release is a 15-day prayer course. Every agitated single or normal single who is asking question, how will marriage happen? No, it's just 15 days. It will guide you to pray through 15 days. Oh, testimonies abound. That's all I'll say. So with all of this, Okada Books or Amazon, Amazon, very easy. You get paperback copies of it and you're good. So thank you for letting me say that. You can get any of this, like we said.
Please, I quickly need you to answer this question. And she's, I just pinned it. Yeah, if you can read it. It says, wanted to ask you questions, sir, as regard to what you're saying. Yeah, you're saying space in marriage. My husband wanted, let me read it properly. My husband wanted space in everything. The only thing that connects is our conjugal needs. What can I do so that the space is not a long one? She said, I am just saying it's too much space. Good. Because my husband demands for space in everything.
I love this question because it takes us into the balance of the other side.
That's right.
Why do I say so? Learn to call a dysfunction a dysfunction.
That's right.
If you love space in everything, if you notice, all the conversation we have made is specific space. At specific times, not in all things. No. So this person is just, your husband is just approaching you for sex, so he has downgraded your relationship to a sexual relationship.
That's right.
Now,
that's
you can get that anywhere. Prostitutes abound. In fact, in this generation, you don't even need to go to prostitute. Colleagues are enough looking for who to sleep with them. Church members are enough looking for who to sleep with them. Like I was counseling somebody. The lady just told me, leave that matter. Don't tell me men are using me. I'm enjoying it too. There are such people all around the place. So downgrading a marital relationship to just sex is actually abuse of a kind. So that man needs to be prayed for, one, for God to encounter him to see differently. And now when I say encounter, most times when I teach intercession, it's not that abstract concept. I'll tell you the truth. Let me give you an example. Do you know we have had some meetings where women got their husbands in, they were not happy. They just say, okay, let me just do it. Then they come in and like, wow, thank God I came. Now, that's the power of intercession, because everything God achieves and attains stands and rides on the power of prayer. So when I speak intercession, God can just make a book fall in his hand. God can just make such a man stumble on this life and say, what are they saying? Then 5 minutes later, he's like, okay. He gets convicted. So this man is dysfunctional and needs help. And the first place you must channel your strength is to ask for the intervention of God. The intervention can come in diverse ways, like I just explained some examples. Number two, very often when we tell people to pray, people just assume there's nothing else to do. There is also something to do. When Jesus spoke to those men on his way to Emmaus, they said, when their eyes opened finally, didn't our hearts burn when he spoke? That means he had to engage an action, although he was all powerful and risen from the dead. While you are praying, the problem a lot of spouses have is that they counter their intercession with their action. Ask yourself, One of the prayers we pray while interceding for any marital situation is James 1:5. He said, does any of you need wisdom? Let him ask the Father, who will not rebuke him for asking. You now ask God, what do I do to engage this man, to make this man enjoy this marriage beyond sex? What ideas can I bring to the table?
Very important.
That will catch him. You get? And guess what? Sometimes when you start the idea, his face will be strong. But God will give you the strength for your heart to be stronger. We will do this. We will follow through on this one. We will do it before you know it. Because guess what? Before we overblame, do you know there are men also? It's not because they are wicked, it's because they are twisted. Life twisted them. I'll give you an example. I went to teach in a couples forum. Mama, you won't believe it. I told men to stand up and hug their wife. A man began to cry. The spirit that are twisted in him, God delivered him of it. The power of God just hit. I said, hug your wife, and God was doing deliverance. The man began to cry. And guess what the man said? Now, this marriage at that time was about 10 years old. How can a marriage be 10 and a man is crying because I made them stay with their wife, hold and hug and stay with their wife? He traced it back to his father. This man was talking, people were just looking like what's going on. He said he was not trained with affection. So what was going on for 10 years of the marriage? He was not trained with affection. So there was a twisting of his experience and expectation of what life should be. So, but a moment of the spirit of saying, can we all stand up? Can we just hold our wives? Can we stay there? Can we talk to each other? A man began to cry. 10 years in marriage. What happened there? Something happened that shifted the twisting that happened through his growing up. Some people, I can tell you the truth, speaking as a man, the pressure some men are facing, it takes them encountering the grace of God to come home looking for anything but sex. So everything is irritating him. Rent he cannot pay. Office they are insulting him. Customer he cannot find. He's already, everything is scattered.
That's right.
So when he's erect, it's the only time he can think, Tom, let me just take this one and rest. That man needs an encounter with the peace of God. Not because he's wicked. So there are different layers. That's not all what this evening is about. So let me not overflow that one. But there are different layers to it, but you need to pray for that man.
That's
you
right.
need to pray for that man.
And also encourage him to seek for counsel. It's very important,
yes,
for them to seek for counsel, because more often than not, they don't really know what to do. Some people don't know what to do. Some men could just be helpless. And it's also possible that he didn't see it. It's not, the husband is not even seeing it in the light in which the wife is seeing it. So they need somebody to help them. They need to go for counseling. They need to go for counseling. It is well. It is well. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you and thank you and thank you. My regards to Madam, and we can't wait to have you. We're also planning our couple retreats, and also the one we have. I told you I'm not supposed to say it here. When we reach to you, because the world needs you. So 2023, you are part of our speakers, you and your wife. So hoping to see you very soon. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Lord.
The Lord bless you.
Thank
you, sir. Regards.
Amen.
Amen.
See you here.
Hallelujah, guys. To God alone be all the glory. We'll come to the end of today's Real Talk with NHN in preparation to the NHN meet and greets.